All right, heroes, it is our fourth and final session on the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm going to be going super fast through this one because we have 9 points to get through, but I hope you enjoyed our February book club and our focus on relationship month. So this section is called Be a Leader, and in it, we're going to be going over all of these points. So begin with praise and honest appreciation, or as Carnegie says, a barber lathers a man before he shaves him. Everybody likes to get to hear something nice before they're going to go on the chopping block. To coincide with that, call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. This is a mistake I used to make when I was managing at Starbucks. So don't give someone a compliment and then criticize them with a but. And I used to do this all the time, to the point where if I told one of my employees something nice, they would instantly say, what did I do wrong? Because they were anticipating it. So what Carnegie suggests you do is change it to an and. So you're really good at doing this certain thing, and I know you'll be even better when you obtain this skill. That way it goes from being a criticism to more of a help, instead of saying, you're really good at this thing, but you're terrible at this thing, you need to do better. Complement areas where the person's action would work really well. So that method that you did of doing things, that, in another situation with this kind of customer, that would have worked really well. It just, in this type of situation, maybe we should try this. And then one thing he notes is that doing this indirectly works wonders with sensitive people who would otherwise resent you. Talk about your own mistakes first. This is a great one to disarm people. It isn't nearly so difficult to listen to a recital of your faults if the other person admits that they also are far from impeccable. And that's so easy to say, what, when I started, I used to get this wrong all the time too. In fact, I was 10 times worse. And Carnegie even goes to the point in using smoking as an example that it can be something you haven't even corrected yet. You could go to the person and say, what, I still have trouble with this thing. And maybe you can help me figure out how to do it. So even if you admit that you still have problems with it, admitting your own weaknesses makes the criticism more palatable. Another big one, instead of just barking direct orders, ask questions. Let people come to the conclusion. Say things like, do you think this would work? Or is there anything we could do to alleviate this? Or can you think of some different ways that would help this situation? Let them come up with a solution, even if it's really obvious. Asking questions not only makes the order more palatable, but sometimes you'll get ideas, creative ideas that you didn't think of. Also, people are much more likely to buy in to an idea or an order if they had a part in coming up with it. And then finally, on the opposite side, if you create a resentment by just barking out an order, that can take a long time and a whole lot of work to overcome. So you don't want to go down that road in the first place. Tied to that is letting the other person save face. And I'm going to quote Carnegie here because I thought this sentence was really important. We ride roughshod over the feelings of others, getting our own way, finding fault, issuing threats, criticizing a child or an employee in front of others without even considering the hurt to the other person's pride. And this reminds me, especially when adults do this to their children. They punch their children in front of the children's friends. Like, I remember as a kid, that was the worst thing. It wasn't getting punished. It was getting punished in front of your friends. And that can hurt way, way more, or embarrass the kid way more. And adults, we're just grown-up kids. So as Carnegie says, even if we're right and the other person is just definitely wrong, you're only going to destroy their ego and make things worse by causing them to lose face. Give them an out. Don't do things publicly. Do everything you can to protect the feelings of the other person. Another good one, praise even the slightest improvement. And that's going to cause the other person to continue to want to improve. You need to make sure that it's specific and sincere, because they'll detect it if it's false. But if you minimize your criticism and emphasize the good things that they're doing, it'll naturally reinforce the good, and you won't have to criticize the bad. It'll just automatically atrophy. All right, moving on, give the other person a really good reputation to live up to. So if you've got a certain thing that you want to let's say it's an employee or a friend or whatever, say like to an employee, man, you are one of the fastest baristas I've ever seen. Maybe they're not, but if you compliment them on that in a certain way that's sincere, like, you pull shots faster than anyone else, or you're really good at getting the drink orders down and you're getting so fast to the bar, they're going to practice that trait over and over to try to live up to that great reputation you gave them. And also make the fault easy to correct. Let them know, they actually have a flair for that thing you need them to work on. They're actually, he talks about, being a dancer and taking dance lessons. Find like a way to say, like, in his case, like, oh, your moves are old fashioned, but you've got like some great fundamentals. You're going to be an amazing dancer. So show that you have faith in their ability, and they will practice all night if they have to get good at that thing, and they'll live up to your expectations. And then finally, make the other person happy to do what you suggest. And Carnegie has a 6-step process that basically says, with them, what's in it for them? Put it into how it will benefit them best. So to wrap up the entire book, you're not always going to get a positive response to the techniques, but if it only makes you 10% more successful in helping change attitudes, that's an amazing benefit. But the principles in the book, even though they are tactical, they must be done with sincerity and come from the heart. And finally, if you inspire others to recognize their hidden treasures, you can not only change lives, but you can transform them. With that said, go ahead and take some time to discuss which of these resonate best with you, and let us know. Once again, thanks for joining us, and we're looking forward to next month's book.